In this week's episode, we talk about the full moon at 28 degrees of Pisces. This is sunset, moon rise. They both hit the earth plane at the same time. Love that. And we'll talk about and welcome in the sun coming into Libra, fall equinox, and happy birthday to our Libras and Andrew, my son. To hear more from this week's transits, tune in to this episode of Astrological Intentions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with Miss Maine, Sandy Reevy. Say hi.
Hi, I'm happy to talk about that.
It is episode 165, September 20th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Monday, September 20th, Mercury trine Jupiter.
Write Your Fairytale, Part 1.
And full moon in Pisces.
At sundown.
Wednesday, September 22nd, Mercury square Pluto retrograde.
With or without you.
And sun ingress Libra.
Happy birthday, Libras, fall equinox.
And Thursday, September 23rd, Venus opposing Uranus.
Speak up.
And Saturday, September 25th, Mars trine Saturn.
Appears a prince.
And Monday, September 27th, Mercury stations retrograde.
Reflect on relationships.
Then in Talisman time, Sandy has 2 talismans to talk about. One she has finished, to convey good spirit as my asset, and the second upcoming, to gain income through connections. Then on the horizon, don't forget we have one more spot for our Mexico retreat, as well as our October astrology forecast coming up soon. And in our house, Sandy bids me farewell and fair waters as I set sail to Maine. So listen in as Sandy gives me her favorite things to do in Maine.
And let's see if you do them.
Stay tuned.
Mother says.
Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, Miss Maine. Do you know this? There's actually a double meaning to this.
I know the Maine is where my post office is, but Maine is where my son lives. And you're going to visit.
But why would I call you Miss Maine?
Because I'm single.
Okay, that's one reason.
But because I miss Maine.
Right.
Oh, I do. The suitcase isn't big enough for me to get in.
I know. This whole week you've been saying, I wish I could go with you. I wish I was going to Maine.
And I was just there.
You were literally just there.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that in our house. Let's go direct to all of you listeners. And thank you so much for your feedback, for listening in on this podcast. I do have a message from Ash in Nashville, Tennessee, and she sent in a little Instagram post saying, why were we taught to be afraid of the witches and not the people who burned them alive? And that was just such, because she listened into our talk in our house last week, or I guess the last 2 weeks, on all of those reasons that people could be a witch or be construed as a witch. And that was just such it hit home when she sent this in. Why were we taught to be afraid of the witches and not the people who burned them alive? And it's just so crazy,
No response.
Well, it's a good pondering, right? So you can, of course, answer that yourself, but I have my answer. So let's move into the transits.
Yeah, it's a big week.
It is a big, big week. So let's start off for today, Monday, September 20th, Mercury trine Jupiter.
So this is the first of 3 hits. And this I titled Write Your Fairytale. Just imagine a beautiful dream-like story and confide and tell people about this. Like, write it down, say it on social media. This is the first planet, Jupiter, this trine to Jupiter, that Mercury is going to aspect during his retrograde cycle. Now, that means this will be the first of 3 passes. And Mercury right here is on the fixed star Spica, or Spica, that I like to say. So, we begin this storyline. So the planet of communication is in Libra the entire time of its retrograde. So we want to talk about relationships in connecting others. So whether we're in the network or we're making the networking, it's just kind of connecting and making arrangements and agreements. It's actually nice for business because it can improve or start some planning around some thoughts or projects about creating an agreement in business. However, this will be the first of 3 passes. So it's kind of like, stay tuned.
Okay.
You can begin the conversation. Absolutely. You might have many, this is a trine. There could be many conversations, many opportunities coming your way. Not all of them will pan out as maybe as big as they look currently in the current phase.
Okay.
So take your time here, because it could be that, agreements are being negotiated during this time, and this will last. The last time we get this is November 1st. So this is a long time, September 20th through November 1st, right? So that's about 6-7 weeks. And if you really need to sign in a contract, we hear about the Mercury retrograde. Now, he's not retrograde yet until the end of the week, or actually 1 week later.
Right, next Monday.
But I just wanted to bring this up that, Mercury trine Jupiter is like all the grandiose things that we can discuss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that would be like
maybe we're having these discussions again.
Write your fairy tale, or write your dream, write your pie in the sky. No dream. Jupiter says no dream is too big.
No, in fact, your dream may not be big enough.
Yeah, and that would be fun, is like doing an exercise, writing a dream, but saying, how can I make this bigger? How can I make this bigger?
And having that conversation, because Mercury will be going back, right? Retrograde, and hitting this 2 more times. It says, oh, we need to readjust this. We need to either turn up the dial, turn down the dial, the bass, the treble, what's that? Treble, the volume, the speaker systems. It's like we still have to make that arrangement or that adjustment.
Right. So very cool. So still the same day today, Monday, September 20th, the full moon in Pisces.
You know what? This is going to be a cool one. This is at 28 degrees of Pisces.
We might be a little bit biased because we're both Pisces.
And this is 28 degrees Pisces. So it is 1 degree away from my sun.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the full moon is the full moon. So it's the full moon at Pisces, which means the sun is opposite 28 degrees of Pisces. So that's at 28 Virgo.
So you're almost at your half birthday.
Exactly. This is my 1 day away from my half birthday.
Mine passed on September 1st.
But it's interesting. So if this happens at 6:55 p.m. Okay, 6:55 p.m. Let's think about this. So as the sun sets, it's a full moon.
Right.
The sun sets over the western horizon. What is happening on the eastern horizon?
Moonrise, one of our favorite things to watch.
So interesting that that's happening at the end of the day. So it makes you want to think that, and it's at the end, the second last degree of the zodiac calendar year, right? Like the 29 degrees Pisces is the last day of the zodiac year. 28 is the second last day of the zodiac year. So it kind of feels like this sensation of an end of a last day, an end of a thing, an end of a summer, and a rise of a new day. So there's something about here that has this bringing in these opposing meanings happening right on the earth plane. Because if you think about it, there are 2 places actually that the cosmic planetary energies hit the earth, right?
Okay.
And this is at the horizons. Right? The rises and the settings. And that's, I think, why people are so...
it is. It's a special time. It's those golden hour times where, the light seems a whole lot different. And it's such a sacred time because it doesn't happen as often. Throughout the whole day, you have, full sun, full light, usually. And But then during those moments of either dawn or sunset, it's just a spectacular moment because you're seeing things move, and
beginning
it's only
something.
it's such a temporary thing.
Beginning something and ending something. So just check in with yourself if you can be. This is definitely a thing I'm going to be watching on my rooftop, because check your senses here. Feeling that there is just as much, because it's a different feeling because it's in Pisces. So are you more instinctual or compassionate? Bring more intuition into your next 2 weeks. Right, because this is the full, so we're going into the lessening of the light. So bring more of that imagination, intuition, as the light begins to decrease at this moment.
Okay.
Bring more in that those feelings in.
Okay. And so moving on, Wednesday, September 22nd, we have 2 transits. The first, Mercury square Pluto retrograde.
This happens at 8:12 a.m. with or without you. Changes are occurring, right? Mercury, this is the first of 3 passes, so we'll get a sense of what this square Pluto is right around this day. Be involved with whatever is going on, but subtly. Strong forces reign, but your ability to stay calm and persist. All the way till about this November 2nd period, you can stop wearing that shirt where it says, stay calm and persist. I made up a fake shirt you could be wearing.
Oh, nice.
Because see what has transformed in that period. And what I wanted to say, too, is, if anyone grabbed the cheat sheet for the month of September, I compared this month to Rapunzel.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to, I didn't mention this on last week's podcast, but I want to, because this is, it just seems like every single day this week, there's some storyline going on with Rapunzel. Should I say it now do I go backwards and catch up, or do I wait till we're done and then go to and I want to do it. I've decided to do it.
Okay, you go ahead.
I needed to ask the air.
Uh-huh.
So can we go back to Monday the 20th?
Sure.
So this Write Your Fairy Tale, this is the timeline starting on Monday, the 20th, when Mercury is making this trine to Jupiter, which, right, is a really nice communication link.
Okay.
My storyline, about Rapunzel is the witch gets to the bottom of the tower and yell and from the outside and calls to Rapunzel, 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 let down your hair. And Rapunzel does that. She hooks her golden locks above the window, and the witch, and then lets it down over, and the witch climbs up. So, in other words, it meant like good communication. Things were moving, right? It's a trine. Things are happening. Then we go to the full moon later on that night.
Mm-hmm. And
of course, the full moon is sunrise, sunset. Something is happening here. It's kind of like a beautiful, kind of romantic time. The storyline, the prince is riding through the land and hears the beautiful voice of Rapunzel singing in the tower, and he is mesmerized.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's in this full moon.
Yeah,
it's
in mystical.
Pisces. Yeah.
Magical.
And then we pop to the 22nd, Wednesday, where we have the Mercury is making that square to Pluto. In other words, with or without you, there's something here that holds a little bit of a stay calm and persist. And here I've linked it to the prince overhears from his hiding place the witch calling to Rapunzel to be led up. And where, right, the witch says, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. Well, he was hiding in behind the bushes.
And he could hear it.
And he could hear it. So now he has his plan.
And that's that Pluto. Is that Pluto energy? It's kind of like an undertow. You're not really sure, but it's very powerful.
I overheard or I was spying on how to get my beautiful new woman up there that I've fallen in love with
to be my princess.
How do I get to her? And he's overheard. So here he goes. So when we go into still that Wednesday on the 22nd, the sun moves into Libra. And this happens at 2:21 p.m. So this is fall equinox, everybody.
Yep. Happy Libra season. Happy fall.
Interesting. I want to talk about that fall thing first.
Did she fall for the prince?
We haven't gotten there yet. But she let her hair down for him. But I'll get there in a minute. What I want to talk about is the sun moving into Libra. Now, if we think about this, the sun moves into his fall. Because if you think about it, opposite Libra is Aries. The sun is exalted in the sign of Aries.
I was going to say, because I thought the sun was ruled by Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but...
That's domicile. That's rulership domicile.
Mm-hmm.
But in its exaltation is Aries. So now opposite that, fall. Interesting that they call it fall equinox. Mm-hmm. But here in Libra, it just seems like the sun has many things to attend to, a lot of other people. I say here, don't be a crybaby, son. These are your people. Everyone stands in their truth and gets along. It's a tall order because extra effort may be needed here. But happy birthday, Andrew, my son. Happy birthday, Andrew. It's your birthday.
And happy birthday, Libras.
Yeah. And happy birthday, Libras. And always at these ingresses of the cardinal signs, there is a
changing of the seasons.
Yeah, and so an adjustment. Are we changing our clothes, into spring and wearing our boots and getting some socks on? And the flower. We'll look at the flowers. Our annual flowers. Are they starting to dwindle? They're ready to go into their, deciduous
more hibernation.
Form. So we're heading in that direction, and having to do with the Rapunzel story. This is now the prince calls the same words to Rapunzel, and she lets down her hair. He climbs up. They fall in love, and they make a plan to escape. In other words, they're working together.
Yeah, and that would be a
Libra.
Yeah, good for Libra. Libras love teamwork, and communities are coming together, communicating, making plans. Okay, so Thursday, September 23rd, Venus opposing Uranus retrograde.
Speak up. Venus here, this is going to be a quickie, and maybe that's all it is, but the goddess of love is requesting a need from your Uranus, because Uranus is visiting her sign of Taurus. The question is, does Uranus listen? Doesn't Uranus want to do what he wants to do? He is the changer, the awakener, the liberator, the individual. Should she speak louder? Should she bang pots? Should she scream? Hopefully he hears and surprises her without all this chaos. So plan ahead for this one, all you lovers, because the Venus in the opposition to Uranus could really create, Uranus likes to create a chaos. So is there something that you need to speak up and out, and you need to make sure you're heard? But it can be nice. It can be nice. It could be some surprises that you have planned.
Fun.
Yeah. And what I wrote in the storyline is the plan is thwarted. When the witch finds out. Right?
Yes.
There's like a chaos. Nothing really smooth here. So she cuts off Rapunzel's hair.
Ouch.
And when the prince returns to help with the escape, he calls to Rapunzel to lay her hair down. The witch hooks up the hair that she's cut off on
and
the
he's
hook
climbing
from
up
the
to
window.
his doom. Yeah.
And he climbs up because Rapunzel's no longer in the tower. The witch has set her, and Rapunzel's pregnant, and sends her off into the forest.
I don't remember that part. That's not a normal part of that fairy tale.
Check out the original.
And those are always way darker.
And the prince jumps out the window into the sticker bushes, or brambles they're called, that pierce his eyes and blinds him.
Yep.
So can we already feel like this is, really this week is just like...
Took a turn.
It's the Pluto.
It's
It's the Uranus energy of the opposition. So you need to be heard. Speak up.
And Saturday, September 25th, Mars trine Saturn retrograde. We got a lot of retrograde planets happening.
And they're about to come. They're most
More
of them
are coming?
No, most of them are about done with their retrograde cycles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this one, this Mars trine Saturn is, and there appears a prince. So let's just talk about this real quick, because who's stronger here? This is a trine, so it's easy energy. It's great, great dedication and willpower to achieve and accomplish a goal, set an achievement. But Mars here is in detriment in Libra. So Mars, needs to have teamwork here to get things accomplished, because Mars is in the sign of other people. I've got to consider you. So if I'm going to get lunch for myself, or if I'm going to pick up a snack for myself or a coffee on my way in, I better get something for my partner.
Yeah.
Here,
that's pleasant. That's the pleasantness that Libra loves.
And then Mars doesn't really like that, right?
Right.
And here we have that Saturn being in his domicile, even though he's retrograde. So, there appears a prince, and that's kind of nice. It's like being taken care of, feeling good, preparing for a long haul. So yeah, maybe it is a good idea to bring somebody at work or your significant other a special gift that you're going to buy for yourself. You're going to buy two. So 2 ice cream cones dripping on the way home.
Yeah. And Monday, so next week, September 27th, Mercury stations retrograde. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, reflect on relationships. This happens at 12:10 a.m. So this happens at midnight on Monday morning. So in the middle of the night, we go to bed on Sunday night, we wake up on Monday, and he has turned retrograde.
Okay.
And stays retrograde at this he stations at 25 Libra, and he stays in retrograde the entire time in Libra, but from now until October 18th. So, all types of relationship need maybe a conversation, need a repair, need to reflect. Do you need to redo any of the agreements that you've had? Do you need to say something? Do you need to question something? Right? And just as I follow the story of Rapunzel, that Rapunzel gives birth to twins in the forest where she now lives. All that while, the prince is rambling, lost through the forest, blind, frail, hungry, and unknowing of where he even is. So it makes you feel like that retrograde period is like, I'm not moving forward. Am I getting anywhere? And why do I have to go backwards? Why do I have to go this way? I already did that. So again, we bring in that prince of not knowing where he's moving forward.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll follow that. We'll follow the rest of the Rapunzel story next week.
Okay.
I wish I would have started 2 weeks ago in the podcast.
Okay, so let's work on talisman times. You have finished up one Friday, September 17th, to convey good spirit as my asset.
I possess hopes and wishes for myself, those I love, and my community I live in. Everywhere and everyone I focus on is greeted with the same luck that rubs off on them. Really like this placement. This is now a disseminating moon phase, and because we just had the full moon, and the moon is making this really nice aspect to Jupiter, and this is all in the first house. So really like the moon and Jupiter coming up over the horizon with the moon making that aspect. So in other words, wanting to bring goods to others.
And the upcoming talisman, Friday, September 24th, to gain income through connections.
I am overflowing with love and support of my project or product from everyone I know. Fortunately, my story floats through those supporters to gain more followers. And I love it when I can find the moon enclosed by the benefics. And here we've got...
And it's been happening often with these talismans.
Yeah, recently, because the moon in because the moon gets in between, enclosed in between, like a sandwich, like an ice cream sandwich, between the two benefics, and is protected. And and we've had that recently because of Venus and Jupiter's assignment and placement in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that is a short talisman time. But don't forget that next week we will be having our new talisman of the month. So stay tuned for next week on that announcement. And let's move into On the Horizon. We have one space left for this Mexico retreat, and it will soon be gobbled up. So if you are interested, email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. I can answer any of your questions. And of course, there is that link for the deposit if you're ready to go.
And actually, we were sold out. And what happened is there was two friends that got their own rooms, and they've decided to double up. So
they're going to split a room.
They're splitting a room. So that opened up one room
one
slot.
single occupancy.
One single occupancy.
So the room is all yours.
Which I really prefer this for this particular. But these two girls know each other, so they're bunking up. Although there are no bunk beds. It's a luxury.
Beautiful queen, spacious,
white with blue.
Yes, those beds are so comfortable. You just kind of melt into them, and then you wake up to a beautiful sunrise every morning. It's priceless. So October 2nd, we have our October astrology forecast. This is a free event. Everyone can join. Click that link, RSVP, yes, that you are going, and you'll be notified once we go live. Also coming soon.
We got the cheat sheet. Is that what you're about to say?
Coming soon is the cheat sheet. So click that link below too. And as soon as it's ready, the October forecast will be available for you, that cheat sheet.
Yeah, I just finished that today.
And let's move into our house. We're going to wrap up.
Let's talk about the 7-day intention challenge.
Oh, of course.
That is happening October 16th through the 22nd. 10 a.m. We try to keep these a half hour. And this is our, oh my goodness, third? Fourth?
I definitely fourth.
Fourth 7-day intention challenge that we started in January in place of the Mexico retreat.
Right.
I wanted to get a group of people together. It's free, doesn't cost a thing. I do a little teaching.
And it's open to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the big changes that we had made last time.
Mm-hmm. And
we opened it to everyone. So talisman owners and non-talisman owners.
Mm-hmm.
You just come in, you bring in a daily affirmation for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Something that they can either attach to that day or use their talisman affirmation, but really connect with whatever energy is going on in their lives, in the universe, and be completely present and affirm in a group. And these groups turn into like mini support groups.
Yeah, they're like pods.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
So we love this 7-day intention challenge. If you want, definitely click that link. We would love to see you there. Shall we move on, or is there?
And let's just one other thing. The 7-day intention challenge starts on Saturday the 16th, and it goes for 7 days. Duh, it's called 7-day. At 10 a.m. Central Time, and it's every single day at 10 o'clock. So I challenge you to sign up, and then I double challenge you to show up every day at 10 o'clock Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really like we try to make it under an hour. It's usually around 30 minutes, and it's a really wonderful way to set up your day.
And do a little teaching, and then everybody does their affirmation. All right, we're good.
Let's move into our house when I am taking a little vacation similar to the one that you just took.
But I didn't bring a boyfriend.
to Booth Bay Harbor, Maine, to go visit my brother, your son, of course. And get to play some golf, get to jump on some boats, do a lobster tour. So what I wanted to know from you is, what are the must-dos for me on this trip to Boothbay Harbor, Maine?
How many do you want?
Give me your top 3, and then some extras if you have it.
Thistle Inn for dinner.
Okay. Give me
I did not get there last time. We ran out of time. You must make reservations. Ask to sit outside on the outdoor deck. And they've got all the little twinkle lights and all the trees. You can see, kind of when you're driving by. And they've got nice music playing. And the food is on the top 3 restaurants. But I like the ambiance. I'm an ambiance.
The top 3 restaurants you've ever had?
No, in Boothbay. Because, when you go to Maine, you're going to eat mostly seafood.
I mean, lobster, crab, whatever is freshly caught.
Yeah. So Thistle Inn, make sure you ask to sit outside and enjoy maybe that's where you should have Andrew's birthday party.
We could do that.
Because I know Andrew's birthday is coming up, and I know you're going to celebrate it.
We'll be there right before his birthday.
But maybe you can celebrate at Thistle Inn. That's a good idea.
Okay.
I guess I have to pay
What's
for it.
number 2?
Number 2. Okay. Go to the used bookstore.
Tell me about the used bookstore.
As many times as I've been up there over the last 6 years, I have seen it. And it's either not opened or, bookstore, Yeah. I ended up going in on a rainy Sunday. They're only open like Friday, Saturday, Sunday from like 11 to 4. So make sure if you can, it's right in town. It's right kind of behind the library.
Is it like a little nook place? Is it really big and expansive?
No. It's a little nook place with tall ceiling, shelving, and I
love the smell of old books.
Oh my gosh. I found some of the best books, all of Thomas More's, Study of the Soul and The Care of the Soul and Soulmates.
Very cool.
And one of my other favorite new books is The Queen's Conjurer by it's a story of like a biography of Dr. John Dee, who was an astrologer, astronomer, magician.
Yeah.
So go there.
So we got Thistle Inn, the used bookstore.
You're already going to go on. I never made it to the reggae cruise.
That's already done for this season. What I'm going to be doing is I have planned a lobster tour where you get to go on the lobster boats and kind of experience that whole thing as they're like throwing over the traps and they're pulling out the ones that they need to harvest. And meanwhile, on the trip, you get to boat by some of the lighthouses, the famous lighthouses in Maine.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So, good. Boat ride, of course. Boat ride.
Yes.
You have to do that. And actually, I think you've got 2 boat rides planned.
We have 2 boat rides planned.
You'll save that for us for next week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is to go to Boothbay Harbor Country Club.
Of course.
And literally, and you know what my favorite time of the night there, is after all the golfers are gone. And it's kind of that golden time where it's
sunset,
peaceful, and there's, all the golfers are off the course.
Right.
So it's just really quiet and it's rolling. It's the prettiest golf course.
It's the prettiest golf course I've ever seen. Yes. And that's where my brother Andrew works.
He's a head pro there.
Right.
So, and then you get to go down and you'll get to see Andrew's office and the pro shop, and he'll probably let you pick out some things. Then maybe you'll go up into the big, beautiful bar where all of these windows open up and look outside. And
right to the docks.
Mm-hmm. There's no docks there. It's not.
Oh, they just open up to the golf club? Or
yeah, it's all golf course.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, the golf course is not near the water. I mean, there's water on the course, of course, but it's not by the bay.
Of course.
So you have to go there. That's number 3. Number 4, if I got little additions, you have to go see Rachel at her restaurant and
Of course.
have a lobster roll.
Yes. I had you when you were on your trip out there.
I happened to ask you, Alex, what can I get you?
And I said a lobster roll.
I'm like, geez, some fresh food.
That's probably like the worst thing to bring over, but I ate it and I was fine. It was so fresh.
I ordered it when I'm at the gate. I'm like, oh man, I
need a lobster roll.
I go and order it, and she says, okay, it'll be done in a half hour. I'm like, a half hour? My flight's, I'll be boarding. And she's like, well, come back in 20 minutes. I'll see if it'll be done. And I was like, I just paid $28 for a lobster roll that I'm going to have to like ixnay on the Xnay. And when I went back, just as I was almost ready to, I was in line. I'm like, let me dart over there. And they're like, oh, here it is, Miss Sandy. And I was able to put it on the plane and bring it home to you.
Yeah. And then also,
but I don't want a lobster roll. I don't want it like that. No, you know what you could bring me?
I know exactly what I'm going to bring you.
What?
Tea towels and jam.
Yes, blueberry jam.
It's the best. It is the best thing I've ever tasted. So yes, those are the 2 things I'll bring you back. And
or mousse turds.
What are those?
Chocolate pieces. That
like the mousse crunch.
Which, can we just say that this is Moose Town? It sounds like it's like do moose and lobster seem like they go together? No. But both of these are prominent in this area.
Yeah.
Like you see Maine and you see a lobster, and then you see Maine and you see a moose. So it's like, what?
Yeah, and you see the seals, you see the puffins.
So they never. Andrew sent me a picture of a moose who looked really scraggly and thin,
skinny,
and
or maybe it was just a young one.
Looked like it was
an old one. Okay.
But they haven't seen a moose on the golf course in 6 years.
So this was the first sighting.
Yeah, and it was walking down a golf path.
Yeah, instead of just like in the
crossing the fairway or something.
Right.
Anyway, those are the things, and I'm excited to have you have this experience. Walk across the footbridge, of course.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a daily
17
thing.
Times a day.
Yeah,
sure,
and then we also
that homemade ice cream that I never went to get, that everybody talked about, and I'm like, not waiting in that line. Nope.
I have that list.
Cream.
Yep.
Not doing it.
So I will also be, of course, having a round of golf or 2. This is going to be my boyfriend's first time ever playing golf.
Really?
And he's going to get so spoiled because this golf course is picturesque, and you don't really get that all the time unless you pay crazy top dollar and you're a golf aficionado. But this is going to be his first time, so it's like, for your first time ever skiing, you're going to go and fly over to the Swiss Alps, or you're going to go to Vail, Colorado, and it's going to be such a cool experience. So I'm excited to
have
tell
Andrew give you golf lessons along the way. Wow.
Of course.
Wow.
So excited for this trip. And because I'm so excited, we got to end this episode right now so I can get on my way. All right.
Get out of here.
All right, everybody. We love you. We thank you for listening to this podcast. Make sure to send over to your friends. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
So you finally know you control where you go.